Want to advance quickly in your career as a project engineer or as a project manager? Most of us do. But to advance quickly in your career, you're going to have to do something not everybody else is doing. Are you willing to work harder? Are you willing to spend the time? We're going to talk about what you need to do in order to advance quickly in your career right now. If you want to advance quickly in your career as a project engineer or as a project manager, or for that fact, in any career or any job position, you're going to have to do something that no one else is willing to do, and that is to work harder than anybody else. It's often called self-discipline. Self-discipline to control your behavior while at work and to work harder. So what we wanted to do in this video is to give you some tips of exactly how to advance quicker in your career as a project engineer and as a project manager in an engineering firm. You ask any manager or any business owner what are they looking for to advance people quicker in their careers, in their companies, and they're going to say overwhelmingly that the most important ability that a person must have, first, it is the ability to prioritize their tasks and then to work on the high-value tasks first to get them done before all the other tasks on their list to do. Secondly, is the discipline to get the work done quickly and very well. This is what they're looking for to advance people in their careers. Once you reach this level where you're working better, where you're producing jobs faster, and are of high quality work, your chances of getting promoted or even pay raises is greatly increased. So how do you prioritize your work? And how do you know which jobs and which tasks that you have that you need to work on first? Well, probably the first rule that you need to know is what's called the Pareto Rule, or the 80-20 rule. Knowing that 80% of the work that you will do will come from 20% of the tasks that you have assigned to you. Being able to pick those 20%. If you got 10 tasks, 2 of them will represent 80% of the work that you need to do for that day. The value that you have to your company is 80% value coming from 2 tasks. So what do you need to do? First, you need to identify that number 1 task on your list. This one is the one that you need to get done. It's the highest priority of all your tasks. It's the one that needs to be done right now, and if you don't finish it today, there are going to be higher consequences for not finishing it. This one must be finished today. That's 80% of your workload. The second task is just as important as that first one, maybe a little bit less, but it's just as important to get finished today, and if you don't, the consequences are great if you get it tomorrow. So in other words, you want to finish these jobs quickly, but you want to finish them well. And as an engineer, you got to do it correctly. The second tip that I have for you is that when you're at work as an engineer or as a project manager, or even if beforehand as a designer or a CAD worker or someone working in the field or anybody out there working on any job, is that when you're at work, you're at work. You work the full time you're there. There's no goofing off at the water cooler. There's no going over and talking to someone about their pet dog or what they did over the weekend. It's work. You work that time. From the time you come into the office until you get off in the evening. It's working throughout the day. Most other employees do not work a full 8 hours. In fact, most surveys have shown that 40% of the day is wasted by most employees doing useless things through emails, going through those websites, searching the internet, doing other things besides what they should be doing, going over to the water cooler, going to the bathroom way longer than they should, multiple times a day, even if they don't need to, having an hour or more for lunch when necessarily not needed to have an hour lunch, maybe a 30-minute lunch and come back and then get ready for the next part of the day. when you're at work, you need to be working. If somebody comes over and talks to you about, hey, what did you do this weekend? You can easily say, hey, I'm working right now. I'm very busy. Why don't you get back with me after work, and we maybe can go over and at the coffee shop and have a cup of coffee together, and we can talk about that, but not right now. I'm too busy. You got to be working all the time. And if you get that attitude, everybody learns to leave you alone because you're just busy all the time. And that's the way a project engineer and a project manager should be at all times, working, and anybody else in the company should be. But I'll bet you only 20% of your company employees are actually doing that. If you do it too, you're a step above everyone else. And that leads into the next tip. You want to be the hardest working person in that office. You work harder than anybody else. You're always at your desk, always doing your job, always whatever it is that your job title is or your job description is, you're always working. So when you're the hardest worker in your firm, when you get a job, you take it, you do it as quickly as possible and as correctly as you can. Send it over to someone else then as a project engineer and have someone else review it, make sure everything looks good, and then get it on out the door. You always want to work the jobs as quickly as you can. Spend as much time, as I said, working through the day. If you goof off, jobs can take forever to finish, 2-3 days, but in reality, you could probably finish it in 1 day. So work hard, finish it, and you'll gain a reputation as someone, if you give them a tough job or any kind of job, they'll finish it faster than anyone else will because they work on it until they're done. That's the reputation you want. The next tip I have for you is what they call the 3-point formula of success. In other words, you want to come to work a little earlier than most everybody else. You want to start working. In other words, come in to the office, sit down, and start scheduling out for your day. Start getting your paperwork in line. Get everything ready to go. This is starting for everyone else. So by the time everyone starts coming to the office, you're already at your desk and working. You're already progressing through the day. And then you want to work that full 8 hours through the day. That's part 2. Do it all. Work all through the day. Don't stop. Only for a break. Get up, do what you got to do, come back. But you're constantly working. You put in the 8 hours of work to earn your 8 hours of pay or more. Then in the evening, you're going to stay a little longer than most everybody else because now you're going to be finishing up things you didn't get done throughout the day that you wanted to get done anyway. You stay till you get it done, or at least you stay an hour or 2 more after work to make sure everything on your desk has been finished. That's the 3-part formula. The next tip I have for you is called the 40-plus formula, which means you work a 40-hour week, yes, but if you're coming in a little bit earlier than you should and you're leaving a little later than you should, you're putting in more than 40 hours. And so that extra time, that extra hour, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 hours that you're putting in every week at work, those are investments in your future. That's saying that I'm putting a little extra into this because I know if I work hard enough, the boss is going to recognize that. He's going to see that I'm here in the morning. He's going to see me in the evenings. He's going to see that I'm working at all times. I'm not just goofing off when I'm here longer than the 8 hours. I'm actually working. He recognizes that. So that's an investment in your success. And it's an investment because in a few months or maybe 6 months, you're going to be asking for a raise. And he's going to give it to you. And he won't give anyone else a raise maybe. Or if he does, it's a small raise. But he'll probably give you several dollars more than anybody else. And eventually, you may be paid more than anybody else. You'll be promoted faster than anyone else because you're taking on the work and he knows it's going to get done. That's the kind of reputation you want for that 40 plus. I know you've been getting value out of this video. Please go ahead and down below and subscribe to our channel. Also, press that like button. Let us know that we're doing a good job. We want to know that we're doing a good job. We want you to hit the bell right next to it. And then that way you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. The next tip I have for you is probably one I've gone by all my life working in the professional industry, and that's dressing for success. If you want to go to that next level as a project engineer or as a project manager, how do they dress? How do they look to you? What do you anticipate or expect them to be dressed as? Well, why don't you come to work already dressed the way you should be? Coming to work with a t-shirt and blue jean pants and tennis shoes may not be the right image that you want to portray. Maybe this is a profession as an engineering field, and that you should dress as a professional, which means a dress shirt, dress pants, dress shoes, a haircut that's done well. That's being dressed for success. Not wrinkled up clothes, torn, tattered clothes, and not questionable wear. Whether you're a man or a woman, you should always be looking at how you're dressed. Are you dressed professionally? Are you someone that if the boss is going to take someone out to lunch to meet a client, that he's willing to take you, and he wouldn't take you because you're not dressed appropriately, because you'd be an embarrassment? Would he take you because you're dressed properly and you would represent the company well? That's setting that reputation that you're trying to gather. It's not easy, and it's not hard to do, but if you continue to do it, it becomes a habit. Everyone sees you as that professional that's always working all day, dressed appropriately. You look like it. You look like an engineer. You look like an engineering manager, and that's the person that you will be. You are preparing yourself to be that future self that you want to be. So go ahead down below and subscribe to our channel. Also, you'll find over the side here another video that we have that will address another subject in the engineering business. Go ahead and see our next video. Until the next time, keep on growing as a project engineer, as a project manager. See you on the next video.